Hello and welcome to the Vibrate Higher podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about inner work. I feel like inner work gets so overlooked because people don't give enough credence to its power. When really, it's like the key to unlock all of the transformation and manifestations that we're looking for. As humans, we are always striving for something. There's always a goal, a job, a dollar amount, a salary that you want to make, a relationship, a healthy body. There's always something. And a lot of us are putting in a ton of effort only to see little or no results, only to feel stuck, like nothing is moving, like everything is the same. And that is because you're missing a critical piece of the puzzle. It's the knowing that the inner state creates the outer form. So let's talk about what inner work is. Inner work is a process. It's not a quick fix. It takes devotion, kind of like learning to play an instrument. It just takes consistency. And once you develop that inner work muscle, then it really becomes a part of just who you are. Inner work is the deliberate attention to your inner child by building a bridge between it and the current self so that you can soothe, motivate, inspire, and heal your inner child. And I say inner child because your belief system is formed by the time you are 7 years old. So think about the time from when you were 7 years old until now. If you have not been a proponent of self-development or inner work up until this point, it's totally okay, but want to give you some perspective. The 7-year-old version of you is running your life. And so there are so many unconscious blocks and limiting beliefs that your 7-year-old self developed that keep you from realizing the things that you want. And it may even keep you from wanting things. So like if you have an abandonment issue, you probably developed that somewhere along the line in your childhood, and it can keep you pushing away things because you don't want people to get too close to you because you don't trust that they're going to stay. Or on the adverse, it could keep you holding on to people that are not good for you out of fear that they will leave and that you will be alone. And so you will endure things that are not serving you because it hurts more to deal with being alone than it does to deal with the treatment that you're getting. Another kind of example of our 7-year-old belief system holding us back is worthiness. That is such a common issue at the core of so many of us. And so what that can look like is living in scarcity, never manifesting the job or the career or the love that you truly want, because deep down inside, your inner child doesn't feel like you deserve it, or they don't feel like you're good enough to have it. And so you unconsciously keep attracting the same situations and keep creating the same scenarios or the same type of people. And it's because at the core, your 7-year-old self doesn't feel worthy because of something else that happened decades ago that's still impacting your life to this day because it hasn't been addressed. And so that is what inner work does. So why is inner work so important? You can amass all of the material things that you desire, money, cars, homes, etc., but you will not fully be at peace unless you are whole on the inside. Look at the countless celebrities that can walk you back through times in their lives where they were absolutely miserable as these famous, amazing people that we see, but inside they were not whole. They had not done the inner work to heal and to build themselves up to the best version of themselves. Inner work helps you heal the wounded parts of you that keep you from attracting the things that you desire. It helps you open yourself up to the guidance that you seek from God, the higher power, creator, the universe. When you do inner work, it helps you quiet the critical factor of your ego and you're sometimes fueled by that 7-year-old self, that keeps you from hearing the things that you are asking. So let's say you're praying and you're asking for a sign, or you want to hear something and you're like, what are my next steps? What should I do? Show me a sign. But if you haven't done the work to be able to quiet your critical factor, you're not going to hear divine guidance because you're too busy listening to your ego. And you get confused as to, well, is that the sign? What voice is that speaking to me? If you haven't done any work to be able to tell the difference between guidance and your ego, you won't know where to go. You won't hear that gentle nudge. Inner work helps you open yourself up to the guidance you seek from above, the creator, God, the universe, higher power. When you do inner work and that is a part of your lifestyle, you have a clearer, stronger connection because you are so balanced on the inside. You're able to hear better. So a lot of times we are praying and asking for things. Help me understand this. Show me this. Guide me here. And then we're waiting and we're like, well, I haven't heard anything. And, I haven't gotten an answer back. You do get the answer back. A lot of times you get the answer back immediately. But because you have not cleared the channels to be able to hear, it's taking you forever to notice the signs. Inner work helps give you that direct line because you are now in balance with your inner child and your current self. And now you can hear from your higher self, which has that direct connection to higher power, to God, to the creator. Inner work also gives you the inner peace you need to handle the ebbs and flows of life with grace. When you are settled from the inside out, you will be able to tackle what life throws at you. When life's, all of us are going to deal with things. We're going to lose people, places, and things in our life. We are going to grieve. We are going to have our hearts broken. We are going to deal with all kinds of things. That is what we are in this dimension for. When you have done the inner work and you have that inner peace, you have a different perspective on those ebbs and flows that life throws at you, and you handle them with grace. You're leaning in, you're learning lessons, you're feeling the pain, you're embracing what is in front of you, and you're knowing that this is here for a purpose and I'm going to lean into what this purpose is. That is inner peace. That comes from inner work. So let's talk about how inner work can impact each area of your life. For your career, inner work impacts how you believe in yourself, how you push through self-doubt and fear, and how to create things from a flow state. This is so important, especially for my entrepreneurs out there who you are creating every day. You're building something from the ground up. You are going to deal with self-doubt. You are going to deal with fear. You're going to have to learn how to create from a state of flow and allowing. You do not want to create from a state of anxiety, tension, and fear. For your love relationships, inner work impacts you by showing you how to be the energy you want to attract. I have an entire podcast episode on that. It's actually been one of my most popular ones. So if that title resonates with you and you haven't heard that episode, scroll down in the episodes and find it and listen to it. I break down so many things about this concept. But when you have done the inner work, you understand how to be the energy that you want to attract. And so that way you do not continue to manifest the same type of relationships or no relationship at all because you have fear of commitment or trust issues. And this doesn't only apply to romantic relationships, guys. This can apply to friendships. This can apply to familial relationships. This is all about understanding how to give what you want to get. For finances, inner work can help you break through the ceiling of scarcity and into an abundance mindset because you address old limiting beliefs that you have picked up in childhood, like we talked about earlier. That's a lot of time where lack starts. We learn it. It's a frequency that we have picked up on as we have grown up. And when you do the inner work, you can release that mindset and you can draw in more abundance, which directly impacts your finances. So you look at money differently, you receive money differently, you pursue money differently. That all comes from within. That starts with inner work. And for health, I love this saying. I heard it from somewhere. It's not mine, so I can't take credit for it, but it hits. We hold our issues in our tissues. We hold our issues in our tissues. Inner work helps you regulate your nervous system. I also have an episode on how to regulate your nervous system. So look for that one as well to give you more details to connect the dots here. But when you live in survival mode daily, meaning you're anxious, you're stressed, you're wound up, you're depressed, you're worried, that wears on your body. It wears on your immune system. And we are not built to live that way. Our bodies are not built to remain in survival mode all the time. So when you put your body in that scenario, it's overworked, and over time, those cells get weak, they break down, and they start to develop issues, which leads to disease or dis-ease. Inner work teaches you how to self-soothe. So when you feel yourself being wound up, number one, you're cognizant of it. You're not existing in it all day because it doesn't even feel normal. And when you feel it, you're able to self-soothe immediately because you've done the work, and you and your inner child are besties. And so you know how to talk to them. And so you're putting them at ease. That means you're relaxing your muscles, you're relaxing your body on the inside, and you're removing that tension, and you're letting oxygen get through your cells. You're letting your cells flow along, and you're passing messages of peace to your cells, and they're carrying those messages to other organs of your body. And that is how inner work can help your health. I'm telling y'all, inner work is so critical for life. So now that you understand what inner work is, why it's so important, and how it can have a positive impact on every area of your life, I am certain you're asking, how in the heck do I actually do inner work? And I wouldn't be me if I did not give you all a process. So here is my how to do inner work in 4 easy steps process. If you're driving or cooking or doing something that you don't have the ability to write this down, I am going to put the information in the show notes so that you can go back and read it. So don't fret. Let's dive into our steps. Step 1 on how to do inner work: accept and allow. I put this as step 1 because it's so important. In order to start the process, you need to accept yourself for who you are and allow yourself to be as you are. That means stop the negative self-talk, stop the self-doubt, stop the self-sabotage. You are where you are, and that is where you should be. Period. And depending on the circumstances, I know that can sound cringy, because if you're in a space that is not good, it feels like I shouldn't be here, but you should. Based on your focus and your thoughts and your belief system, you should be there based on what you believe, because what did we say? The inner state creates the outer form. Here is where you are. And the beauty of it is you can change that by changing your focus, your thoughts, and your beliefs. It's not permanent. In order to do that, step 1, accept and allow. Step 2, be intentional. When you are feeling like crap, do not allow yourself to continue to feel like crap. Stop in your tracks and get curious and ask yourself, what was I just thinking about? I am feeling wound up. I'm feeling anxious. I am feeling tight. I am feeling a lump in my throat. I am feeling my heart racing. I am feeling worried. I am feeling frustrated. Notice it, name it, and ask yourself, what was I just thinking about that made me feel this way? Because the more you do that, the more you train your subconscious mind to question it, and it will also answer. The subconscious mind is your inner lawyer. It produces evidence. When you ask questions like, what was I just thinking about? It's going to give you the answer. And your job from there is to catalog those thoughts. Pull out your phone notes, write it down in the middle of the day, then keep moving. Journal it if you're one of those people that carves out time to think about your day. If you're journaling in the morning or if you journal in the evening, that is the time you want to catalog those thoughts. You want to notice those repetitive thoughts that keep you feeling away, because when you do that, you can then change them. But you have to be intentional. So starting today, you have to commit to watching your thoughts, stopping the negative ones, and cataloging the repetitive ones so you can know what those are to change them. I personally recommend creating time and space to talk to yourself about those thoughts. That's why I'm a big proponent of journaling or writing them in your phone notes, just so that you have a reference. You'd be surprised if over the course of like a 8-hour workday, you took like 10 seconds to write down like, oh, I'm thinking about this bill I have to pay and it's got me anxious. Okay, you move on. Then 2 hours later, I'm thinking about that fight I had with my significant other and it's making me feel this way. You'd be surprised the dots that connects by the time you get through the end of the day to where you can start noticing patterns. And if you have that data for a week, 2 weeks, can you imagine the intel that you will have on yourself and your belief system? It would be amazing. So step 2, be intentional. Step 3 on how to do inner work is meditate. If you know me, you know that I am a huge proponent of meditating. And meditating can seem so intimidating because I think that a lot of people who are not familiar with it feel like you have to be levitating on some rock to meditate. That's not true. There are so many different versions of meditation, but what you want to do is carve out time to hear. Praying is asking, meditating is hearing. Make time every day, even if it's 5 minutes a day. Sit with your coffee. If you don't have time to sit with your coffee and you're busy, you're driving somewhere, turn the radio off. Drive in silence and hear your thoughts. What that time is doing is raising your vibration. And when you raise your vibration, you can hear guidance like we talked about earlier. So step 3 is meditate. Step 4 to how to do inner work is forgive. Forgiving is forgetting. Forgiving is releasing the person or the event from holding you hostage. The reason why forgiveness is a step in inner work, guys, is because until we forgive, you hold yourself in a lower vibration because you are in a space of pain, depending on what the issue is, victimization, depression. And when you are in that state, you will continue to attract more of the same because that is a signal that you're emitting. Forgive. My favorite forgiveness practice is I will make a list of people that I feel like I need to forgive. And I'll make a list of people that need to forgive me. And I will take them one by one. And I don't do one by one, meaning like in an hour, I'm going to go through 3 people. I do this like I'll pick like a Sunday and I'll do it like one person per session. So like I'll sit down and say, okay, I need to forgive my friend who we had some beef and, you know, maybe we're no longer talking. And that I've noticed this negative pattern of thoughts around that person just keeps popping up repetitive. And it's making me pissed, frustrated, anxious, annoyed. I need to forgive her. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write their name and I write out why I need to forgive them. You know, what they did. I forgive her for gossiping about me. I forgive her for telling my deepest, darkest secret or whatever it is. And you say a prayer and you let that go. You forgive them, releasing them from holding you hostage. You don't forget. I'm not saying call them and be best friends again, but stop letting them live rent free in your head. So write your list, write out who you need to forgive and who needs to forgive you, and write out a sentence. Maybe it's a paragraph of what you forgive them for, and say that prayer like, I forgive this person. They were acting in whatever way they felt worked at the time based on the version of themselves that they are, and I have to forgive them and let it go. And the same thing for yourself. I forgive myself for hurting so-and-so. I was a different version of myself and I acted in that way at the time, and I am no longer that person, and I have to forgive myself. So I do a version of that. And sometimes it only takes a few minutes, 5 or 10 minutes, sometimes less, but it helps me clear out that space in my spirit to allow more positive energy. Step 5 in how to do inner work is taking accountability for your emotions and for your reactions. You are the only person that is responsible for how you feel and how you react and how you behave. No one else. And a part of doing inner work is constantly reinforcing to yourself that this is so. You cannot waste time or energy mulling over an external circumstance that made you feel like this, or that's the reason that you did this. That is wasted time and energy, and it keeps you in a lower vibration. Taking responsibility and owning your actions helps you grow. It creates space for you to develop yourself, and it turns you into a person that is not a victim and that has the power to choose their emotions no matter the situation. And that is huge for inner work. Now you understand what inner work is, why it's important, how it can positively impact every area of your life. I challenge you to commit to one of those steps a week. I want you to pick one step, and every day for a week, do that step. Focus on just that step, and then add to it the next week until you complete all of those steps. And I guarantee you guys, if you do that, your life will change for the better. Nothing that we covered today costs you anything but time. It is free 99 for you to improve yourself. You have nothing to lose by doing these steps and just mastering it. And don't forget, the inner state creates the outer form. So start working on that inner state until your outer form molds into something better than where you are. So that is all that I have for you today. Make sure that you subscribe, like, and share this podcast so that it grows. Write some reviews. Let me know if you like it. Pass it on to people. Give me a post about it on Instagram if you like this episode. Tag me at Zenergy Group. Also, you can click the link in my bio. I included a free workbook of my Define, Design, Align framework. This is the framework that I created, and I use it for my coaching clients. And I put it into a short workbook for you to answer some questions and use it as a great inner work tool to serve as a blueprint to create the life that you want. So click on the link at the bottom of the show notes to access the free workbook. And I hope that you all are vibrating higher now than when you came. I wish you love and light, and I will talk to you soon.